In the sacred foothills of the Himalayas, a prince was born. His name was Siddhartha, and his arrival was heralded by signs of greatness. Asita, a foreseer, visited the king and queen who were soon to have their newborn. He saw in Siddhartha the marks of an extraordinary destiny. Asita prophesied that the young prince would become either a powerful king or a revered spiritual leader. His words resonated with the weight of truth, marking the beginning of an exceptional journey. King Suddhodana of the Shakya clan protected his people militarily with the experience of his lineage. He wished for his son to inherit the throne and continue his legacy. However, Asita's prophecy cast a shadow over the king's heart. He feared losing his son to a life of asceticism and spiritual pursuit. Determined to guide Siddhartha toward a life of earthly power, the king sought to shield him from any knowledge of suffering or hardship. The king believed that by surrounding Siddhartha with beauty, luxury, and pleasure, he could influence his son's destiny. He envisioned a future where Siddhartha, the mighty king, would rule with strength and grace. Siddhartha grew up within the opulent walls of the palace. All his needs were met, all his desires fulfilled, as his mother had passed away giving birth to him. He was surrounded by beautiful gardens, exquisite music, and devoted servants. The king made sure that Siddhartha experienced only the joys of life, shielding him from any form of pain or sadness. As a young prince, Siddhartha excelled in his education. He mastered the martial arts of the time, demonstrating remarkable skill and agility. His intelligence shone brightly, grasping complex concepts with ease. He was a prince of incomparable charm and charisma, captivating all who knew him. Yet, despite the luxurious life he led, a shadow of unease lingered in Siddhartha's heart. The gilded cage of the palace, though opulent and comfortable, felt strangely confining. He yearned for something more, a deeper understanding of the world beyond the palace walls. On a pivotal day, Siddhartha's charioteer, Channa, drove him through the city. On this journey, Siddhartha encountered 4 sights that would forever change the course of his life. These encounters, known as existential unavoidable situations, served as a profound awakening. First, he saw a frail old man, his body bent with age, his steps faltering. This sight made Siddhartha realize the inevitability of aging, a reality unknown to him within the palace walls. He saw his own mortality reflected in the old man's tired eyes. Next, they encountered a sick person, their body ravaged by illness. Pain marked every line on their face, their voice a moan of agony. This encounter showed him the reality of sickness, the fragility of human life, and the universality of suffering. Then, they came across a funeral procession. The mourners' cries filled the air, their faces etched with grief. This sight forced Siddhartha to confront the inevitability of death, the ultimate end that awaited all beings. Finally, amidst the despair, Siddhartha saw a wandering ascetic, his face serene and composed. The ascetic, clad in simple robes, radiated an aura of peace and tranquility that captivated Siddhartha. He represented a path beyond suffering, a path of spiritual pursuit. Siddhartha was never the same again. He became restless and taciturn, and his father, seeing this, decided to marry him to Princess Yasodhara so that he would know the pleasure of marriage. They had a son, and he named him Rahula, which means my impediment. This divided him, remembering Asita's prophecy. To stay, was to commit himself and continue reproducing the same things that cause suffering. To leave would be an uncertain search for how to overcome it. The turning point came one night when Siddhartha, unable to ignore the turmoil within him any longer, decided to leave the palace. He took one last look at his sleeping wife and newborn son, his heart filled with love and sorrow. With a heavy heart but unwavering resolve, Siddhartha mounted his faithful steed Kanthaka and rode into the night. He left behind the opulence of the palace, his family, and his kingdom to seek a truth that transcended the material world. This event, known as the Great Departure, marked the beginning of Siddhartha's spiritual quest. He exchanged his princely robes for the simple attire of an ascetic, vowing to live a life of renunciation and dedication to finding a way to end suffering. Siddhartha's journey led him to study with renowned teachers. He mastered various meditation techniques and philosophical doctrines. He subjected himself to extreme asceticism, believing that mortifying the body would lead to spiritual liberation. However, he realized that such practices, though offering temporary respite, did not lead to true enlightenment. He recognized that neither extreme indulgence nor extreme deprivation held the key to ending suffering. He discovered the middle way, a path of moderation between these two extremes. This realization was a pivotal moment in his journey. He understood that true enlightenment lay in embracing life's experiences, both joyful and sorrowful, with wisdom and compassion.